Have you ever stopped to think about how true love can change everything around us? We live in a world where people are constantly searching for healing, for answers, for a reason to keep believing that things can get better. However, many forget that the key to that transformation is closer than they think. God's love has the power not only to restore what has been broken, but to reconnect us with what truly matters. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, it may seem counterintuitive, but the love that restores is not the kind that simply ignores what's wrong. On the contrary, it's a love that confronts the mistakes, that brings to light what needs to be changed. And that, my friend, requires courage. It's the courage to look inside yourself and see what needs to be transformed. We're not talking about quick and superficial fixes, but about a healing that starts deep within and spreads to every area of your life. The great truth is that when we allow God's love to envelop us, we begin to see everything differently. Pain turns into an opportunity for growth. Broken relationships get a second chance, and faith becomes stronger than ever. Do you want to discover how this love can transform your life too? Then stay with us, because what comes next could be the turning point you've been waiting for. God's love is such a powerful force that when an individual truly opens up to it, their life changes radically. Imagine yourself surrounded by a love that does not judge, does not abandon, and never gives up on you. This love is capable of healing the deepest wounds, the pain that no one else sees. It is as if a light has appeared, illuminating the darkest corners of the soul, bringing hope that was thought lost. When someone allows themselves to be enveloped by this love, it is as if an invisible shield protects them from adversity. In their daily lives, many experience this power in subtle ways, whether in small joys or great victories. When someone faces a difficult time, be it a loss or a disappointment, trust in God transforms the burden into a learning experience. This transformation is visible to everyone around them, since the person, even in the midst of the storm, carries a peace that transcends human understanding. It is this strength, this love, that not only sustains us, but also drives us to share this experience with the world. And this is where the great wisdom that God's love brings comes in. It doesn't transform us just for our own benefit, but so that we can also be a light for others. Think about how this can be applied in your life. When you feel strengthened by this love, you can, for example, reach out to someone who is going through a moment of despair, offering a word of faith. And this chain of goodness, this transformation, is the true power that can transform not only you, but everyone around you. Peter, one of Jesus' closest disciples, is the perfect example of how even the bravest can succumb to fear. Despite his boldness, Peter faltered at the crucial moment, denying Jesus 3 times. What makes him special, however, is not his failure, but what happened afterwards. Jesus, upon resurrecting, not only forgave him, but made a point of calling him personally, demonstrating that God's love covers even the greatest mistakes. This redemption offered to Peter is a profound lesson in hope and faith. In our daily lives, it is common for fear to paralyze us, especially when we are faced with situations that are beyond our control. Like Peter, we often make hasty decisions or stray from the right path. But the great wisdom here is knowing that, just as God offered Peter a new chance, He also gives us opportunities to start over. In moments of weakness, remembering this example is essential to finding confidence and carrying on. When someone feels overwhelmed by fear, whether in their daily responsibilities or in the face of great challenges, remembering Peter can be a real relief. God does not abandon us because of our mistakes. Just as Peter found the strength to become one of the greatest voices of the gospel, we too can be restored. We just have to trust, let God's love reach us and allow us to move forward, even after we fall. Linus, from the Peanuts universe, is the character who always carries a blanket, symbolizing a protection that comforts him and helps him face the world. This image is a beautiful analogy for God's love. Just as Linus feels safe with his blanket, we also find refuge in God's love, which envelopes us and protects us from adversity. Linus' blanket represents the security we seek in times of fear and uncertainty. And for many, this security is found in faith in God. In everyday life, we all have something or someone we turn to in difficult times. It could be a word of comfort, a friendly hug, or even a moment of silent prayer. God's love, however, is the ultimate protection, always present, even when everything and everyone fails. The wisdom that comes from this relationship with God is what allows us to move forward, knowing that there is a greater force always ready to welcome us. It is like an invisible blanket that, unlike material objects, never loses its power to protect us. Just as Linus never lets go of his blanket, we too must remain steadfast in our trust in God. This love offers us peace in times of despair and reminds us that even when the world seems to be falling apart, there is a safe place to anchor ourselves. Whenever we feel lost, we can remember this analogy. God's love is always near, ready to embrace and heal our deepest wounds. God's love is a force that not only heals the wounds of the soul, but also rebuilds what has been destroyed. It acts as a bridge, reconnecting what has been broken, relationships, dreams, and even faith itself. When someone allows themselves to be transformed by this love, restoration happens from the inside out. The hurts and resentments that once seemed insurmountable begin to fade away, replaced by new hope. The wisdom here is to know that no matter how irreparable something may seem, God has the power to restore everything. This restoration is not only something personal, but also relational. Many times, conflicts with family, friends, or even with oneself can be overcome when God's love is placed at the center. Think of someone who has been estranged for a long time, whether due to past hurts or disagreements. God's love is what can bring reconciliation and renew these bonds. By opening one's heart to this healing, one finds the strength to forgive and rebuild these bridges. In addition to restoring, this love reconnects us with the greater purpose for which we were created. When a life is reconnected to God, it aligns with the wisdom and confidence that comes directly from Him. This gives us the clarity to see beyond our own problems and limitations, allowing us to also be instruments of reconciliation in the lives of others. In this way, the healing we experience spreads and touches those around us, bringing about a chain of restoration. Prayer is a direct bridge between the human heart and God's love. It is in this moment of sincere dialogue that we ask for restoration and healing, believing that He has the power to transform every area of our lives. Asking for forgiveness, whether for large or small mistakes, is an act of humility that puts us on the path to true healing. When we pray, we are recognizing that we cannot do everything alone, that we depend on God's wisdom to guide each step and give us the confidence we need to overcome adversity. At this moment, imagine yourself placing all your pain, anxieties, and failures before God. Prayer goes beyond words. It is an invitation for God's power to act in our lives in a transformative way. When we pray for restoration, we are allowing His love to heal not only our physical wounds, but also our emotional and spiritual ones. It is an opportunity to release what weighs on our hearts and at the same time, receive the hope that He is working on our behalf, even when we cannot see it. This prayer is not just for ourselves, but for all those we love. When we intercede for others, asking God to reach them with His healing and restorative power, we are fulfilling the role of sharing this divine love. Imagine the impact your prayer can have on the life of a friend, a family member, or even someone you don't know personally. This is how the cycle of healing and love spreads, touching lives and transforming hearts. Now that you understand the restorative power of God's love, the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? The love that reconnects is not passive. It demands action. So, how are you going to apply this to your life? What areas need to be restored? What relationships do you need to rebuild? The challenge is on. Look inside and recognize where you can start taking action, allowing this love to enter and make a difference. If you feel touched by this message, it's time to act. What are you waiting for to experience this transformation? God is ready to heal your wounds and restore what was lost, but He also expects you to take the first step. What would your life be like if you allowed His love to enter each area? Reflect on this and start the change today. And if you think this can help someone, share this message. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue learning more about how this love can impact your life in a practical way. There's so much more to come, and I don't want you to miss any part of this journey. Are you ready to take the next step?